Hello. Um,
Hello.
how are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well, doing well.
It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for putting up with all of the technical difficulties that I was having. Although, to be fair, at this point, only 21 minutes late. So I built 90 minutes worth of, you know, trial and error into this. So, uh,
That's on time in my book. That's on time in my
look,
book. You
I'm
know what
not
I mean?
especially with the having two kids running around and all the other stuff going on, like it's not bad. It's not bad. So plus, I mean, I was able to get a workout in this morning, and I took the kids for a couple of hours so my wife could have some time to herself too. So all in all, having a really good day so
No,
far.
already won. Already a
So
victory. Already a
yeah.
victory. This is just icing on the cake.
Absolutely. So once again, thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for being on like the inaugural podcast, the very first podcast from the studio at John House. Which we were talking a little bit before about the name for it. I don't know. What?
Yeah.
Please
I
share.
mean,
Please
I threw
share
out
the
some
name
ideas.
you was inspired within you for this.
I was pushing for the Stump Pump podcast. I
It's so funny.
you know,
OG supporters of the podcast, I think like my first 20 subscribers might remember. Uh, my channel was literally just my name, so it was just John Stump. I was like, I'm not, I don't know. I should probably change that a little bit. So yeah, that's just funny.
winter's coming,
Yeah,
John Stump.
sure is. So yeah, once again, thanks. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, what's going on, and with the pictures behind you, why we're talking today, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thanks for having me. Really excited. It's a first time experience for me, so
Same
it's
here.
a lot of nerves.
Yeah.
Not used to filming myself, but feeling excited about it. My name is Lonny Thompson. I am the co-owner of the Hungry Elf Company. It's a business I own with my life and business partner Esther Frank Doyle, and we make custom hand wood burned and hand painted anime and nerd artwork. Just anything nerdy.
Dude, they are legitimately awesome. Like
There's got a
legitimately
couple.
awesome. I love the Wind Waker piece back there.
We just finished that one. Yeah, Esther finished it yesterday. So it looks a little dull because we haven't gotten the shiny clear coat on it yet to finish it up. But
Well,
no, that
no,
one
no.
was
I mean, that's
beast.
just Skype doing that. So don't yeah, don't sell yourself short there.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. See a little
Oh
sheen
yeah.
shine out. Yeah,
The little shine.
really helps the colors pop. But yeah, no,
Um,
we've been in business for about 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in July, and it's been
so
a roller coaster.
I mean, that's the best kind though, right? So how, I'm kind of fascinated. Like, how did you get started with this? Like, I know we talked a little bit about it
Yeah.
before, but like,
Yeah,
how did this come about?
so I got into wood burning. I'm 32 now, but probably when I was like 24, I first got into wood burning. A friend of mine bought me like a little $15 wood burner from Walmart.
Mm,
And I made a lot of like knick-knack stuff, I would say.
mm.
Almost like your live, laugh, love
Sure,
type
sure.
things for people. And I kind of just fell off. I really got away from art for a long time. And
Mm,
when I met my partner Esther, she went to college for graphic design. She's been a painter for 17 years. She's brilliantly talented, and uh, and I was at a point I was working debt collections. I worked student loan debt collections,
oh man,
and it was not my favorite job. And the
I really,
pandemic
I mean,
hit.
that's surprising because it sounds riveting.
It was fine until the pandemic, and then it was just like me harassing nurses during the pandemic, and I just, I felt like I was
Uh,
selling my soul a little bit.
mm.
So I just one day I just got up and I quit, and I took a few
So
months.
you quit like no plan, no like was it on a whim? What
I,
you just walked away?
it was a little bit dark. I woke up one morning and texted my manager at the time, and I said, if I have to come into work again, I will kill myself.
Oh, okay. Um,
So, I took some time. I was definitely dealing with some depression in my life,
mm,
and
and
started therapy. Big advocate of therapy. If anyone hasn't gone, I recommend going. It's good, even if you're not in a bad place.
mm, agreed.
And he kind of was just like, you got to get back to like some things that you love and you're passionate about. And I just got the wood burner back out, and I was just messing around with that for a while by myself, and then Esther started to like paint the pieces, and
Mm,
she bought me it for a Christmas gift. Like I have like a $400 wood burner now, and it's a
oh, that's
lot better than
awesome.
the $15 Walmart
Yeah,
one.
sure.
And it went well. And again, we were doing like a lot of just like more crafty stuff around. I live in a
Mm,
really rural place in upstate New York. A lot of like tractors and cows around me.
sure.
Um, and I never thought I'd be selling stuff online, but the anime community just came forward. The nerds have money, and nerds love
I
their
mean,
nerdy
yeah.
things.
I mean, it's really not hard to see why. I mean, the attention to detail, and I think the fact that they're handmade, so each piece is unique, really kind of brings the whole thing together. Because like if you were doing this just as like artwork and then maybe
Mhm.
putting them on T-shirts or prints as canvas, I don't think it would have the same appeal. Like
Yeah.
I think it's the wood burning and the hand burned stuff. Like the aspect of it that really kind of resonates with people because that's what resonated with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like seeing the I don't even remember how I found it. I think it just popped up as an ad or something in my Facebook time feed or whatever, and it was just like you with the picture, you with the Gengar, and I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, that is the coolest thing I've ever. What is that? Um, and then to find out that like no, this is your business, this is what you do, and you can have something custom ordered
hmm
and made specifically for you. Yo, I'm all about
No,
that.
it's cool. And this one has on here. It does not. But I have like a metal brand that has our logo on it, and I actually like, I torch it up and like stamp our logo into the back. Each piece is like hand numbered. And we haven't yet made the same piece, and we kind of just like refuse to at this point.
Mm,
Anytime even someone comes with an idea and they'll be like, I really like this, I want that. And I'll
right.
be like, what can we do different? Like, is there
Right,
even a
right.
different stance, a different scene, a different background, something to just make sure each piece like is original, you know?
Yeah. I mean, mm. So I have a couple of different like thoughts happening here.
Mhm.
One of the things that I'm thinking about. So how's business right now? Right.
Good. Business
Good.
is good. I remember a time like, where we were like struggling to get orders,
Right.
and posting just relentlessly online.
Yeah.
I've actually just like we're posting about once a week right now, because I already have a wait list with about 60 people on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That is amazing. Like congratulations.
thank you. I
Seriously.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. And it's like, it takes days to make this stuff.
Oh
We
yeah.
can only make like 2 to 3 pieces a week. So 60 orders, like that's enough almost to just fill a year, like
Exactly.
ahead of me. Um, so it's a lot going on, and we're trying to figure out, what's the next direction of growth for us, and
You
all
know,
those good things.
so I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
Yeah, you're good.
one of the things that I think struck me was like when I was going to place my order. I'm gonna be frank, dude. I think you're undercharging. I really do. I really do.
Yeah.
And I think you're probably at a point now to where you have enough of like a I guess a following or a fan base
hmm hmm
um that you can probably charge more because again, especially with this idea that these aren't stamps, right? You can't just
Right.
like you it's one custom order and it's unique and nobody
hmm
else gets the same thing.
Yeah.
Uh what you're charging, I think is, I mean, look,
I mean,
there's a reason I hopped on it almost immediately.
my bank
So
account would agree with you. So, and I think, and I mean, this is for a lot of people, for anyone else who wants to do something similar, because like you're right, like we don't sell T-shirts, we
right,
don't sell like prints of our work. A huge part was taking like a genuine moment to like build up like a fan base, and then
right,
also like, now you can go and read just like dozens and dozens of reviews about people who like had a great time, like with the ordering process and everything. And with the internet now, you have to build some bit of like validation that
right.
like you are a legitimate person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Especially when you're talking about like hundreds of dollars
Exactly.
for stuff, like it's sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, and to that point, again, didn't mean to cut you off, but like,
No, yeah.
I had that feeling too when I'm going through and I'm placing the order. And like, is this like, where's this? That's a, because the thing that I want is monstrous, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And so putting down a $250 deposit was like a little bit, am I, like, is this dude just gonna disappear on me kind of thing? Like, so I get that for sure.
And and even like of course your order is absolutely massive. It is going to be a lot of detail put on it. And a big thing that we still even do now is we usually charge a $50 down payment at the start, and then we go through a whole design process with people. It's a lot of like back and forth of sending stuff, and they're like, maybe I want this a different way, or can we fix this color? And then even after it's approved, we still go and make the whole thing, and it's not until it's like done and created that we like typically bill people for the remaining amount.
So you do like the $50 down payment, and then you do like 100% of the work before you require payment.
Yeah.
Right. Basically before shipping.
Yeah. And we've been worried, but we've never been we've never been stiffed by anyone.
Well, I mean, not for nothing, but I think part of that has to do with the community that you're appealing to. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of us are just good people. So,
No, for sure. And I'm a big believer in just like putting trust in people and society in the world. And I'm happy to be the one to put that out there first. And no, it's been good and it's worked well.
clearly, I mean, you have 60 orders, kind of queued up right now, basically an entire year's worth of work.
Yeah.
So once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
I really think you're undercharging. And but I wish you like nothing but success.
Yeah.
Also, I might be placing another order. So on the side, I saw this. It's really just the Majaro's mask, just the mask. There's an image that I found that I saved. That's just that, and I love it so much, and I would just love it to be on one of the circular boards.
Okay.
That you
Yeah.
guys do. So
Yep.
I'm thinking about it. It'll probably be a lot more reasonably priced than the thing that we're working on right now.
Yeah.
Which I guess brings me to this point. Do you want to talk about that? My project? What's going on now? Because I think that would be,
No, absolutely. Just finally got started on a little bit of a layout on a design.
I know, yeah. You sent me the pictures. I did take a look at those. So.
I don't know if, how often you directly contact a lot of your fan base, but I would like them to know off the bat that you write the most detailed emails. On the actual Gmail, we have an entire folder now just called Stump. Because I just have these essays and I love them and I love the amount of detail. But yeah, if you want to explain to them, I don't know that I can recall everything.
Sure.
We're looking for on here.
So I mean, to start, the level of detail is really just like my OCD, and my ADHD working in tandem. Because I have these ideas, and I'm like, oh my god, this would be so cool. And in my head, it's kind of simple. It's like, oh, I
Hmm.
can see it. Oh, it's just like, oh yeah, I love baby metal and Bandmade and Love Bites, and they've been a huge part of the success of the channel. And plus, I just really love their music, and so it'd be awesome to have something kind of like commemorate this part of my life and this part of the channel as sort of like featured in the background of the videos that I'm doing. So
Hmm.
let's do that. And then so I sit down to like basically say that to you, and then what comes out is like a novel of what I actually want. Because the more I think about it, it's like the more the idea, like the more resolution the idea starts to have.
Hmm.
So I'm like each individual aspect, it's just like I keep with this whole channel. It's just been like me pulling on the thread of the things that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So there isn't a whole lot of forethought. I'm not really planning anything. It's not like I have an idea or I have a vision like long term. It's just like, oh, I've always wanted to listen to Deftones, but I've always kind of wanted to start a YouTube channel. So maybe I'll just listen to Deftones and I'll just make that a video. And I'm like, oh, Deftones are cool. And then it's just like, oh, you should check out Gojira. Oh, Gojira's awesome. Oh, you should check out Ginger. Oh, Ginger's. So it's just like this kind of like, oh, I'm being kind of like led almost by the nose, um, in you know one direction or another, but it's always like in a way that I'm interested in, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
just like an open person, so I don't discount or discredit things um, at all, really, off the cuff, just based on the way that they sound, or even like the way that I feel about them, like my initial
Right.
impression. So
Right.
it's one of the things I think I do well, is not like allow my initial impression of something to color my experience of it.
Right.
So yeah, and so it's like I'm not really I don't consider myself a reactor, right? It's
Hmm.
just I like doing the reaction videos because they're plug and play ready, so
Yeah.
I can just like do it and then upload it, and there's not a whole lot of editing that's required. I don't need a team of people, and I get to listen to awesome music. So you know,
Right. It's
um,
important to take those that slow time. Like, even when I was talking about with like our business, like of just building, like a brand that like you're happy with, number one, where you're
exactly,
doing things that
exactly,
you're proud of and you like
right.
doing. And it's easy to fall for anyone who's even flirted with, internet content creation at all. It's easy to just get pulled in a direction of like, well, this is what other people are doing, so I'm
Right.
going to do this.
Right. And so that I mean, I think that's one of the things that was different about me with starting this channel. It was like I wanted to listen to cool music. I also wanted to get better at speaking off the cuff. So like this kind of fills both of those things for me. Uh, and then I don't remember where I was going with that. So yeah, okay. Um, but this is the thing. Like, I don't consider myself a reactor. That's why the channel is now John House. And the idea
Yeah.
is that like the different rooms in John House are reflective of the different aspects of my personality. So like I would consider us in the studio right now, because this is a more, well, not the studio. I would consider this the lounge, because this is
Lounge.
like I I think I called it the living room in the description, but it's we're kind of just hanging out, having like a focused conversation about something that I'm interested in, which is like artwork and the production of creative, I guess, things.
Yeah.
So
No, we need a whiskey and a cigar. You know what I mean?
exactly,
Hanging in the
exactly,
lounge. Like,
yeah. Um, so yeah, if I could right now, I probably would. But
it is
um,
2 o'clock on a Saturday for anyone wondering.
it is, yeah.
I mean, that's so fair. That's an amazing time to start. Um,
If I didn't have other like if I wasn't planning to get completely annihilated tonight, I'd probably start right now. But I'm going to see my brothers
oh man,
tonight, and I haven't seen God like any of them in over a year, so it's gonna be pretty wild.
no, my sister was just visiting from. Like I said, I'm in upstate New York. She lives in Tennessee now, and she just left last week, and it was the same thing. We for some reason when we get together, it's just, fire and gasoline.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, but yeah, so it's always been just like the idea with the channel is always just like I'm doing things my way, because I need some type of creative outlet because I don't consider I don't have like a medium for my creative impulses, right? So I'm not like particularly or skilled, we'll say, not talented, but I'm not particularly skilled at any of the conventional types of artwork. Like, so I
Mhm.
don't draw, I don't paint, I don't dance, I don't like none of that. I don't really. Um,
You don't dance?
I do though. Actually, I dance and I don't dance well, but I dance enjoyably.
It's
So
it's a beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
So okay, do we finish our point? I don't think we finished our point. I think I got distracted somewhere halfway through. I don't remember
Uh,
what your question was.
about I think we were in the middle. I know we were talking about your order coming
Yeah,
up,
we were talking about my design, and the design process. Um,
which is like, and we've talked a few times already with each other. I know you were so excited about the design process
yes.
when this got going, and sometimes it's nice with a lot of our clients to see them sort of go through like the understanding of how it works.
Mm,
Some people are too focused on like I have to have, this perfect idea for them to do,
right.
and it's like you don't. You know what I mean? Like this is a collaborative process. It's one
Hmm.
of our favorite things that Esther and I do is like getting to create something for someone, and like we send a design, and they're like, oh, what if we move this, or can we add this? Can we change this? And like it'll go back and forth, 10 or 15 times. And then like we just end up somewhere so different than the initial thought. But
Yeah.
like everybody involved, us included, is just so happy with like where we got to.
I mean, so this isn't my first experience working with like an artist to produce a piece of artwork. Um, and it's legitimately like one of my favorite things like that I've ever done. Like if I had more money, I would just do this. Like I would always, I'd be working with like six different artists. I just like working on six different pieces of artwork and like six different mediums.
Yeah.
Um, uh, because I think that I have a like a penchant for art direction, specifically, and I love like having an idea and then working with someone, but the collaboration really I think is what I'm after because it's like I have this idea and then I love like when I give you the words and
Mhm.
then you give me like a piece of artwork back. There's something about that
And it's
that
because I know it firsthand because I'm not like a traditional artist either. I'm trying to get better about like appreciating that I do make artwork and my wood burning is artwork in itself.
sure.
But Esther designs these projects, digitally, and then we take the design and we like lay it out on the wood, and like I sort of just am like burning a lot of lines, and like there's a lot of care and detail that goes in to like
Yes.
making them so tight and defined.
And it absolutely
Um,
shows. Yeah.
and like I'll walk up to her with an idea and it'll look like stick figures, and I'll be like, this is what I want. And then like 20 minutes later, she just hands me back like the most perfect thing. And I'm like, this is so amazing that you took my
Oh
scribbles and
man.
like, made it beautiful,
So
like,
so that's really cool. So you're both both faces of this. You're both the artist and the one commissioning a piece of artwork.
hmm
Oh,
hmm
dude,
yeah.
that's a sweet spot.
And it's a big thing because for other artists out there, they always say it's difficult for artists to own a business because it's hard to be a business owner and an artist.
Sure.
And I'm the one who does so much more of like, the bookkeeping type stuff, the online
Mm.
posting, and like, because I just try to, Esther just has this amazing talent, and like I try to just let her be in a space where she can feel comfortable to like run wild and not be worried about like, did an invoice get sent today,
Right.
um, And so, no, it's an awesome process. It's so cool making artwork with a person, let alone it being like my life partner, which is pretty cool.
That really is cool, and I don't think that's something that we've talked about really enough at this point. So, I know we touched on it. So when you get an order, it goes to the design process.
Hmm.
Um, you so what happens? Like, what is the design process like? How does that typically operate?
So we just hit the first stage with yours, which I always refer to as the 90s collage
Yeah,
phase,
yeah.
where sometimes before she spends hours doing things, it's just like, let's snag some photos online to just like get some positioning, get some sizing. Let's all make sure we're like moving in the same direction together. Um, and like even with that, I'm the one who typically talks to like the clients as well. So like I'm like a middle ground between
Hmm.
Esther and these people. And then once we start to get that down, we get like a little more refined. And then the design she does are just so phenomenal, and like the way that we execute them into real life is mind blowing to me. We have a lot of people. Sometimes I send people like the finalized design,
Yeah.
and they think that it's the finished product, and I'm like, no, this is
No,
just the
that's
design. Like, uh, but then yeah, after the design's approved too, I got one that's we're in the middle of right now. So this is like you can see the raw wood.
oh
It's a little
nice.
Death Note piece we're doing,
Mm.
and
So
like,
how do
go
you
ahead.
so when the design process is finished, that's when you start the burning.
Right. You know,
Okay. So how do you take the design and then like transfer that so perfectly, so accurately to a piece of wood? How does that happen?
So, I mean, it's been a developing process now for a while, learning how to do that. So even like in her design, one of the layers is just the lines that I will be burning. Um, and we actually print that
Okay.
off. We
So
have a
you kind of like
huge,
bake in the wood burning like the major lines into the
yep,
design itself. Okay.
yep. And then we have a big printer that we actually printed off. And then we use like carbon transfer paper to get like a rough layout on the wood with it. So I can like trace lines out
Oh
before I
man.
get to go in and burn.
Oh
Yeah, to
dude,
try to
that's
keep it tight and accurate, you know?
wow. Uh that that's awesome. Like
Yeah, so we'll send you yours when we're done, but when we have the final design, I'll have a 2 foot by 3 foot printout of this that I'll send you too. That's just like a paper copy you can have. Um,
wild. Um man, that's fascinating. Genius really is what it is.
no, I
Really.
appreciate that. I
Um
appreciate that.
and so this has been like a process that's kind of like evolved and refined over the last 2 years. Like how long have you been working on like this specific design process?
So I feel like we really nailed in our design process probably like spring of last year.
Okay.
And that's when we really had like a big first like boom in our business where it was like, a bunch of people were contacting us. Anyone knows the internet algorithm is wild.
Yeah.
And you kind of got to just throw stuff at it. And sometimes, you know what I mean? Things catch fire. And
Mm.
I woke up the one day and like a post had just like 40,000 likes on it. And like, just my
Wow.
email was just like littered. And I was like, what is going on? Um, and
Finally hit critical mass, huh?
yeah. And so like, and it's hard because we try to make sure that we don't turn ourselves into machines.
Right.
That's a big thing. Burnout is very real.
Yes.
And even when we were talking about like the 60 orders we have on the wait list, Aster and I have so many things that we just want to make that we want to do.
Mm.
And like some new things we were talking about, like experimenting with. Like Gara from Naruto.
Yeah.
So
Sandman.
we want to do an epic piece, and I actually want to, at some part of it, like actually glue down like sand on the wood. So like there's actual sand on the wood. Like I think that would be like super cool. Or like we were talking about doing
Yeah. Yeah.
like blood drips from like the Sharingan, like and have it actually like gelled out so it's off the surface of the wood. And it's just we were trying to find some time to like just experiment a little.
Right.
Because unfortunately the learning process and you got to make sure you're paying your bills.
Yeah,
A lot
absolutely.
of this is on the fly learning while I'm working on people's projects. So
Look, I mean, that's in my experience, I think that's the best way to learn. You learn, I think, the fastest that way, and you also learn like the most efficient way.
mhm.
You know.
There's only one real big error we ever made, and it was really early on when we didn't understand that the black watercolor ink we were using at the time dried blue, very blue. Um,
Oh.
and we painted someone's dog, and it's notoriously just known as Blue Dog. Um, but the person was very cool. We got her stuff. She was a friend, so it was an okay
Yeah.
accident to have.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. If you're gonna have an accident, yeah,
With a friend.
yeah. So that's it though. No other like massive. That's fascinating. Um, because it's like, so do you ever have to like restart a piece like once you've taken it to the wood burning stage? Do you ever like how often is it? Do you go shit, and then
So almost never. For like people who've never used a wood burner, like like I said, I have like a real high quality one now.
mm,
There's actually like a temperature like dial on it that I can
right,
control, and you can take it from like where it's like lightly browning the wood to like a full on like smoking burn black.
yeah,
And you kind of just I've really just learned to be patient. Um,
key,
there's always an overwhelming sense of like I got to get this done, and you kind of got to just like think about the next line. I'm like,
mm,
okay, well, let me just work on this line
right,
and just keep myself focused because I mean, it is a hot tool and mistakes can happen.
mm.
You can sand things off though too, which is cool about it
Fair
being
enough.
wood.
Yeah.
So if there's like a mistake, so never had to restart a whole piece.
Yeah, I mean, I've done. I've toyed around a little bit with woodworking or wood burning. I mean, woodworking too, but wood burning. Um, I for Christmas one year, I wood burned a Metatron cube
Okay.
onto a piece of wood for my wife, and then uh, it actually came out really well. It was a pain in the ass to do, um, because I I'm like again kind of a like OCD with certain things, and so like the circles. I don't know if you know like offhand what a Metatron cube looks like, but it's got like I think 13. It's like there's circles that are stacked in a certain way, like a like hexagonal shape,
Yeah.
and then they've got like concentric lines that sort of connect, and it's just a really cool thing to look at that I really liked, and I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
can make this, put this on. Look, when I say I spent 10 hours just because I couldn't figure out, I got the circles because I used a compass to get the circles onto the wood, right? So
Yeah.
that part went okay, but then I'm like, how am I going to ensure that the circle, like when I go to burn this, that the circles
Hmm.
are like circular and they don't
Hmm.
look like a human hand did it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I ended up using my wood burner um, while it was not burning, and like because that's what I was going to be using. So the thought process was if I can carve out the circles with the wood burner beforehand,
Hmm.
that'll give me a groove when I actually go to wood burn it.
Yeah.
So I had the pencil on the piece of wood, so I had like the outline there. So it was like needlepoint, like pin. I was each like 10 hours. It took 10 hours to do this. Okay, it
Yeah.
was like 3 days worth of work, just like pushing the tip of the wood burner into the wood dot by dot,
Mhm.
around the entire circumference of each of these circles, and then like um, carving out through those each individual circles to get like a.
Yeah.
But it turned out it came out really,
Yeah.
like you can tell, but it's um
Yeah,
yeah.
there's such an aesthetic to handmade things. And we even embrace because a lot of times most wood burning is done on basswood. Um, if you go to any like craft store like Michael's, you'll find like a lot of basswood stuff.
Mm,
And it's because basswood is really soft and it doesn't have a lot of like actual grain like to it,
mm,
wood grain. Pine is what I prefer to use. And even on like this one, you can see like at the corner,
yeah,
there's like a spot here that was like where a knot was that got
right.
broken off when I saw it, and like I love that stuff. Um,
It gives it like it gives it character, right? It gives it that like
yeah,
unique, one of a kind flavor.
well, it's hard. You want to flirt that line between like we make a quality product, but I don't want this to look like it's machine made too.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean? Where it's like there's a couple times we looked at a piece and I was like, did we do this too good? Does this just look like?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just,
So,
but no, it's an awesome process.
yeah, and it's. I mean, again, like I'm fascinated by it, and I don't really know of anybody else who's doing anything even kind of close to what you're doing with it. Like I think that there are plenty of artists out there who take commissions. So
Hmm.
like if you want to have a piece commissioned, like you can do that, but I don't know that anybody really has taken it to that step to where, oh, I can get this wood burned onto like an actual physical, instead of like a canvas, it's like a wooden canvas, and then
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
And I mean, we like cut and build them. Like this is actually three separate boards on the Legend of Zelda one.
oh nice,
You know what I mean? That like we attach on like the back, like like we like build the whole thing. And this one was really cool because this is that definition of sometimes people not knowing how creative they can get. Because the
right,
woman was like, I love Wind Waker, and I love Majora's Mask. And she's like, but I really like the art from Wind Waker. So
mm.
like you can see like on there like Link's holding Majora's Mask.
Right,
Like it's
right,
like, and we got the moon from there too, just like as a little nod. And it's like her
yeah,
own thing. Like it's her own piece that she gets to have that like represents all this stuff that she wanted. Um and
that's
like
so
that
cool,
process is so cool. Like and just their reactions when they get it. Um, we've started having people film like unboxing stuff, which is
yeah,
crazy. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
get this love from the internet that it's wild. It's addicting.
yeah. Like I said, I mean, and from this end, it's addicting too. Like I said, I'm really on the edge. I'm like this close to putting in another order specifically for the mask of Majora's Mask, just to have. Also because the other thing that we're working on is gonna it's not gonna be ready for a long time. So to sort of like satiate my hunger for this,
Yeah.
having something else to, yeah, yeah,
No,
it's
I'm
a
excited to see your one order come together. You know what I mean? Like that's a big piece, and it's one of those ones that I know I'm gonna remember because of this is gonna be one of those pieces that really pushes our limits.
and
Um,
that's kind of what I was going for. Yeah. Um. Again, like back to the idea that like I really kind of think I have a penchant for art direction. It's not just like about getting you to produce the thing that I want. Right.
mhm.
There's a collaboration happening, but I also think that there should be like a growth and evolution when I work with someone, right?
Mhm.
I want to be able to find out where their boundaries are, like as artists, and then um, see if we can push past that collaboratively.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for me. It's a lot of fun.
We're gonna have to when it's all said and done, I'm gonna have to release these emails to the world for people to read.
Well, if you want to read the emails, they are actually on the at least the one that I sent you is on the it's on the Patreon.
That's it.
On my Patreon, yeah,
Yeah.
for the art freak tier. For $10 a month, you can go read it.
Yeah.
It's the only thing on that tier right now, so I don't expect anybody. There's nothing. There's no real reason. But if you want to see the absolute torture and trauma that I've bestowed upon Lonnie with this, you can. There you go. $10 a month.
Yeah. I
You can
mean,
go.
even there's going to be more to come because you've already sent a few others that I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
damn.
The one for this one, again, got away from me. I didn't think that it was going to be as long as it was. Like when I sent you that email about the podcast, I'm like, oh, let's just come hang out, and it turned into again like a goddamn 90-page novel. Like what? Why? But the thing is, it's like I would rather you have too much information, than not enough and not know what to expect.
No, and as a person with, ADHD and some OCD himself, I'm not bothered by it. It's welcoming to just have more than I need and just
Well, that's good because I don't think that aspect of my personality is going to change. So, again, and because I'm relatively self-aware, so I know that I can be. I know that I have this like almost this compulsive need to articulate every little detail. So instead of like trying to boil that down and to minimize that, I kind of lean into it with the caveat that I also try to be engaging and entertaining with the things that I write. So it's not, you don't feel like you're, reading a math textbook or something.
And I mean, like the communication, especially what we do, is like it. We do get people who are just like one word people, right? Like,
yeah,
they're like, this is what I want. We send the design. They're like, good. And then like I mail it and they just go, it came. And then like, but then sometimes those are the same people that I like the next day I get it on and it's like somebody left you a review and it's like this person wrote like a 2-page paragraph about how amazing we are. And it's, but even with us, when we first talked, we called each other on the cellular phone, on the cell phone. And I'm that way because it's like sometimes there's so much I want to discuss.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to write this out back and forth.
I completely agree. I think, and this is like completely off the wall, tangential to what we're talking about. But like, the memes about like not texting back, right? And then it's like 3 weeks and now you're too embarrassed. Like, I've been thinking about that a lot because it's on the one hand, texting is super convenient because you don't have to pick up a phone and have a phone call right there. Right. Yeah. And so you can just like get a text from somebody or send a text to somebody. Right. And so not really disrupt really the flow of whatever else that you're doing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it's easier. Right. Because a text message, you're still conveying information, right? So you still have to have some attention to detail, right? It requires some, and if you're going to write a good text message, like an actually like reflective of what you mean text message, it requires that attention. It requires you to engage with the process of sending the text message, right?
Right.
Otherwise, like, because especially with text, you have to be careful with your words. Because it's so easy to misinterpret because you can't get a lot of the nuances in text that you can with speech. So yeah.
No, and like I love texting because I love sending funny photos and memes and gifs and but like it's a great way. A lot of the friends, my partner and I, we have a married couple that we hang out with all the time, and like we have a group chat with them, and it's like. We all kind of just understand that we'll all reply when we
get there,
and it's so hard in society now to like make sure you build those walls to understand that like if someone doesn't answer your text message right away, it doesn't mean that they hate you.
Exactly.
Like,
And conversely, you can apply that to yourself as well. It's like one of the things that like I really value about because I have a couple of group chats like that too. With some buddies of mine, and it's like there's an understanding that like if you go dark for 3 weeks, that's fine. There's no that's not that's okay, right? You don't need to feel embarrassed or ashamed about that and be like oh shit, sorry, I got distracted for 3 weeks. whatever. How was your birthday? Or something. I don't know. Like, yeah. So,
Yeah.
um, back to my design.
Yeah.
I do want to talk a little bit more about that. So, we've talked about your design process,
Mm-hmm.
which again I find is fascinating. So, okay, no, ADD coming back. So we're gonna switch back to your process real quick because we haven't actually finished that. So after you get an order, it's sent to the design phase. Once you and the we'll call him patron agrees on the design, it moves into the wood burning stage. You have this elaborate, creative, and genius method for taking the design and then transferring it to the piece of wood, and then you outline with the wood burning. Now, once you have it, like with the Death Note piece that you have back there,
Yeah.
where is that in the design process?
So I'm almost done wood burning it. I'm actually gonna finish this one off tonight. After I'm done wood burning, I actually blowtorch all the sides and
That's so
edges.
badass.
And I mean, you can see like a little bit on the Legend of Zelda one, and just to add that rustic little look to it. And then Esther uses, it's mainly like high pigment concentrated watercolors. Uh,
Okay.
we
I
use
have no
shout
idea
out
what that means.
Dr. PH Martin. If you see this, drop us a sponsorship. We love you. We love your products. But,
Dr.
but
PH Martin.
Dr. PH Martin.
Get on it.
Yeah, and they're like, a tiny little bottle of it. It's just like, $10 to $20 depending on the one. And she just uses little drops of that, paints it all in watercolor, and then wood stain the naked spots. And then then it's just applying we use a semi-gloss clear coat that we put on top of it. And we ship them out, and I miss them. I miss them all. They're always here for a day, and then they leave, and I only
Oh,
get to leave through photos, man. I don't even own any of my own artwork.
oh my goodness. That's so fascinating. And like I almost want to say romantic in a way that like you spend so much time, like you give birth to this thing and then immediately like send it off to go be in the world. Yeah.
No, and we'll Saturday night it'll probably happen tonight. We'll have a few drinks, and then Esther and I will just scroll through a TikTok together and just be like, "Remember that piece? Remember we made
Oh,
this?" Uh, but no, I mean it's a good problem to have because every time we've made something we wanted to, it's sold. So who am I to complain that my shop is empty and I hate it?
right. Right.
And it's like a weird artist complex where it's like I want there to be things people can purchase and buy. Um, but obviously I want them to sell. So where's the middle ground,
Right. Right. Yeah. And at the same time, you don't want to sacrifice your integrity as an artist just to yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm gonna pull some bad podcast etiquette and go fill my water.
So, got your water. My phone's not dying anymore, so that's good.
What I wanted to say, we've been having a heat wave here in upstate New York. It's been like 90, and
90.
John made me shut off my air conditioner I could have better air.
I have
better
standards,
quality.
and if you're not going to meet those standards, I'm not going to associate with you.
Yeah, so I'm just in here sweating.
Just kidding.
My poor little cats.
It's not really. I didn't do it. Okay, it was first of all Discord, and then Skype for whatever reason. So, both of those companies you can blame. Okay.
I heavily blame Discord.
Yeah.
We're on Skype now, Discord.
Yep.
If and when you hear this.
Yep.
Up your game.
Shout out to Skype, sponsor the podcast.
Stump Pump, episode 1.
Stop it. Stump Pump.
What about you? Let me flip. Can we flip this back? Trade positions. What are you looking for the future with John House here? What
So
what are the dreams?
I think the dream is to be able to quit my job and do this full time. That's really what I'm working towards. But not just that. Like I think that'll be a consequence of what's happening
Hmm.
is that at some point, and hopefully the near future, I'll be able to just be like, yo, bitches, I'm out. And just focus on like this full time. Um, I'm not really sure though, as far because like I said, I kind of alluded to earlier, I kind of just pull on the threads of the things that I'm interested in.
Hmm.
So I don't really have a vision that like, oh, I'm going to be like I'm going to be a podcast host, or no, it's just like I'm interested in the creative process, so I want to talk to somebody who lives that. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. Like I'm interested in really good music, so I'm gonna listen to that, and then I can also like publicize my initial responses to that music, and earn some revenue in the process. Right.
Yeah.
I'm also interested in blowing things up. So I'm trying to figure out a way. Like I did an unboxing video recently for actually you hold on for one of these bad boys.
Okay.
Um,
Oh,
let's see
hell
if
yeah.
that is there. So and so it was my first attempt at like that kind of video, and I think it went pretty well. Like it was all right.
Hmm.
The video itself kind of tanked, which was upsetting to me. It was only like I struggled to break 400 views. I'm like, because like the reason it I think it really upset me because it wasn't just an unboxing video. I bought two of
Hmm.
them,
Okay.
and I
And
gave
you were
one
getting.
away
Oh,
to
wow.
one of my subscribers. And so I didn't realize who doesn't want a free Switch? Like so it was really kind of perplexing to me. And again, like I guess like I had not earned the favor of the YouTube algorithm gods for one reason or another.
Yeah.
So, but I learned a lot about how to do a video like that, and it sort of inspired me to get the office in order so I can use this as kind of like a studio,
Right. Yeah.
and get the green screen going. I figured out how to turn my phone into a camera, so I upgraded my camera for free in the process, which is really cool to be able to do.
Yeah.
So it was like learning to solve the technical issues along the way. I think was more valuable than at least what I spent on the extra Switch. So
No, right. That's like such an important last. That's a very important quality to have as a
mhm.
person. Even while we're right, like this is the first time either one of us
Yeah,
are. Well, for me especially, I've never. Um, and you just kind of have to like, you know,
figure stuff out. Yeah,
you got to
yeah.
get through it.
It's like it's like we got all the way up to where we were ready to record, and then I hit record, and OBS was like, "Nah,
Yeah.
nah." I'm like, "What is your problem? Why?" And so like trying to understand what's happening, why it's throwing up this error. Like it in the moment, it can feel tedious and arduous, but ultimately, now you know how to solve that specific problem, and it won't happen again. Because
Right. It's always it's the pressing the go button. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like Astra and I talked about launching a Patreon for just months on end, and like finally it was just like getting up one day, and I was like, I just got to do it. I'm so
yeah,
worried about
yeah,
what if and like even like the recording videos we like now record time lapses of like her painting the pieces. There's like a time when we just were like, I don't know how to do this, and you
right.
just got to figure it out.
Exactly, and I think that speaks to the whole creative process, right? Regardless of what your medium is, so it doesn't matter if you're like if you like to draw or paint or wood burn or dance or
Hmm.
even more like I would argue even things like okay, it might sound weird, but like calculus, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a creative process to because not to brag, but I got a C in calculus like both
Yeah.
times. I took it twice. I don't know what's wrong with me. I legitimately
It's
took
that
calculus
time.
twice because I was fascinated by it and because I wanted to pass the one test that I failed. It's okay. It's all right. But there's a creative um, it's so hard to pin down exactly what creativity is, but you know it in the moment, like when you're experiencing it, because it's not just like producing something, right?
Right.
There's almost a a uh, a growth or like there's like there's something happening within you, right?
It's understanding that that everything is an art form.
Yes.
Everything. Like even if you talk about, like if you have a good server at a restaurant, right? Like
Hmm.
that person is like performing like art, right?
Yes.
Like everything that we do, there it's just an art form, right? And it's like it's learning that. And sometimes I think that people are too quick to say they're not creative.
Yes, I agree.
And I believe everybody is, and we all just have different outlets and things that interest us. And it's
Hmm.
really about just like, but like if you're into taking care of plants and you have all these plants in a little garden stuff, like that's so creative and like that's an
Absolutely.
amazing skill and
It's
thing.
creative in like the plants thing, like in the literal sense of the word. Like you're creating something from not nothing, but like from
Yeah.
composite parts,
Yeah.
pieces. You're providing because my wife. It's funny that you bring up plants because my wife's family owns greenhouses
Oh no.
and a plant nursery. So, and we live right next door to the nursery. So she
Yeah.
works over there, and then she brings plants home and has her whole garden thing. So, um, and it's a creative process. Um, but again, I'm fascinated by the the creation itself,
Hmm.
and so it, there are times, I'm sure you've experienced this, where you're working on a piece and everything's going fine, but that's kind of it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But then there are other times where there's like mojo happening. There's like something moving through you,
Yeah.
right? And so and it always seems like that piece specifically to you, the artist, has something um, more. Oh goodness. Uh, there's something like shinier about it
Right.
to
Yeah.
you.
No, there's like a
Yeah.
personal attachment and feeling. And I mean, we've made over 200 custom pieces now, which is a lot. And there's some
Mm.
pieces that I just like don't even remember. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Like, and when I see them, I'm like, oh, I love them. That looks great. And then, you know, there's some projects we had where like when I saw the idea the person had, I like felt very not interested in it.
Mm.
And then like somewhere in that process, like I just was like, this is actually really cool and I really love this. And
Yeah.
like it's a huge thing with like creation too. There's I don't know if you know who Jason Isbell is.
Not
He's
off the top
a
of my head, no.
he's a great musician songwriter. But they were asking him about like songwriting, and he was like, you even when you don't want to do it, you just kind of do things. And he says the
Mm.
muse finds the
Yes.
working man.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, you kind of got to just like get out there and like create even when you don't feel like it. Um,
I would argue, like, especially when you don't feel like it. I think those are the most important times.
right.
Yeah.
It's like most important to get out of bed when you don't feel like you want to get out
Yeah.
of bed, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's like and but it's like in everything, right? It's not just art. It's like today. That's how I felt about working out. It's like I didn't want to work
mhm,
out, and I was like, oh, I really need to work out today.
yeah,
So I've kind of like trained myself to recognize whatever that is, and it was like it wasn't the best workout I've ever had,
mhm,
but it reset me, right?
right,
Because I wasn't having such quite the best day. It wasn't bad. It was just like I could feel that I wasn't as sharp as I would like to be, and I felt kind of the pressure of this building, and I knew that I wanted to be sharp for it.
yeah,
And as soon as I felt that twinge of like, oh, I don't feel like working out, I'm like, oh no, bitch, you need to go. So, and then like the other piece to that is like I've struggled with working out for not my whole life, but for the last 15 years to try and figure out how to incorporate working out into into my daily life. You know, when my wife and I got married, we've been married for 6.5 years now. Like, I joined a gym after we got married, and I know it's
after. You're lucky she married you.
I
You
know,
didn't have
right?
to do it before.
I know. It's okay. I talk a good game though, so that helped. But I was going to the gym almost religiously 4 times a week for a minimum of 45 minutes. You know, sometimes
Doing all the stump pumps.
All the stump pumps. Shut up. And, you know, I saw very minimal gains in all of that time. And I'm like, what are these people talking about? Everybody says you go to work out, and then after you're done the workout, you feel better. But it never happened for me.
Yeah.
And this is like 6 months of absolute, like, because I work where I worked, it was like right down the street from the gym on the way home. So there was no excuse for me not to go there. And I was motivated. And I had like, I felt reasonable expectations. I knew that I wasn't going to like all of a sudden turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger after one workout. So I had like, I felt like I had a lot of pieces in place. And so I was diligent in making sure that I got to the gym and got my workout in, but I wasn't seeing the results. And so, in spite of the fact that, again, I was working with a trainer, I mean, you know, it was Planet Fitness, so it was like you meet, I think, every 2 or 3 weeks to like revise your plan or whatever. But still, like, I had somebody who was like, "Hey, if you want this, this is the approach you should take."
It's more than nothing, you know? Like,
yeah. So, and then it kind of just fell off because it always felt like something was missing. And so flash forward to, I guess about this time last year, I was laid off, well, fired, really, if we're being honest. That's a whole different thing. And so that was about the same time that I started the YouTube channel, but I also started working out again. And the difference, like, for me, was like, all right, I don't give a shit about making gains. I don't give a shit about, you know, working specific muscle groups, or I don't give a shit about reps. I don't give a shit about personal nothing.
Right.
The only thing I care about is, am I enjoying the workout every single second of the workout?
Yeah.
And turns out that's what I needed. So
a huge part is when I was in therapy, like a huge thing that I learned how to deal with myself is like, it's very similar to that. It's the idea of expectations, right? And you know, when I did battle depression my entire life, and you know, they'd be like, oh, well, like, you know, go for a walk. That always helps. Or like, go work out, or, you know, sleep more, eat better. And like, I do all the things, and I keep being mad that like it's not changing.
Right,
And my therapist was like, you got to stop having the expectation that when you go for a walk, you're going to feel better afterwards.
Right.
He's like, you just get rid of it. He's like, all you need to focus on is go for the walk. He's like, don't think about the results afterwards. And a lot of that is like with working out. If you're so focused on like what this workout is going to give you, it's going to be problematic, you know?
Right. Exactly. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like, I don't really have expectations because I'm not worried about the next workout. I'm not worried about what I'm going to get from the only thing I'm worried about, am I enjoying it, and can I break a sweat? Yeah. That's really it. That's really, you know, I'm even at the point to where, because I work out outside, right? Because I need space to move, because I don't like you do this specific workout, and no, I want to like throw shit around, right? So, we were joking, I think, about like me dancing, but that's kind of what I do with the free weights, is like I put music on and I move my body to the music with the dumbbells. And it's like, it's both like an intense, cardio workout and, like a, you know, weightlifting workout. So I get both.
And also just the mobility is so good.
Exactly.
Like,
plus,
that
I
is
have
so good.
These Vibram 5-fingered shoes, dude, they're awesome. They're
Yeah.
awesome for that, specifically for that. And so it's just like I crave now because it's not just the work. It's like there's something creative, really creatively fulfilling about the workouts. And so it's like, oh, this is what people are talking about.
Yeah.
This because now I'm more interested in the moving to the beat of the music than anything else. I'm more
Yeah.
interested in that than I am in my own exhaustion. So I'll push past the
Yeah.
exhaustion because I want to keep up with the music.
And it's
And
because what you found your way, and that's so
yes,
important to understand. And
yes,
like, I wouldn't. I mean, everyone in the world loves TikTok. Most people watch way too much of it, I myself
probably. Yeah.
included. And I was when I was always talking to my partner, I'm like, I really don't like when people say, like, do this to make your life better, or do
Yeah,
this to work
yeah,
out.
it's
It's like,
nonsense. It's
if
nonsense.
you want to say I tried something and I found it valuable, that's so different than telling everyone that like this
Right.
is what you need to do,
If
because
you
it
want to
just
feel
doesn't
good, you need to
work.
work out. Like, you have to
I
work out the right way.
I've never felt good working out. I try to do some here and there because like I
Yeah.
want to be in health and things like that.
Sure,
But
sure.
I understand that. I'm never gonna love running. I'm never gonna love
Yeah.
squats. I'll never
Well,
love
again,
squats.
like I feel like I was in kind of the same position. Like I was torturing myself,
Hmm.
right, when I was going to the gym, in 2016, and it just like wasn't paying off. But I kept doing it because that's what everybody said you needed to do.
Yeah.
But that's not really what you need to do. It's like for me, I had to find a way to enjoy the workout for the workout, for
Hmm.
no other reason than just for the workout,
Yeah.
right? And that I think doesn't get enough emphasis. You know,
It's exactly what we've been saying though. That's creativity, right? Like this is
yes,
like the basis. Like
yes,
everything is an art form, everything is creative. Um and you finding a better way to work out, like you it just went from like I hate this to like
to
you're talking about how
no,
like you
to
love
like
it. Like yeah.
this is the thing that keeps me grounded. Like this is the
Yeah.
thing that keeps me from like strangling my children, right? Because I it's like yeah, yeah. So
Oh heck yeah.
plus, I mean, like
Is that gonna go on the Patreon?
uh
Do we get to see a video of you
oh,
dance working out
oh God,
outside?
you know, I actually have some footage. Uh, I haven't done anything with it, but yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I'm
The
so
world
dumb.
needs that, man. The world needs it.
I didn't realize too that there's this idea of like joyful movement,
Hmm.
which apparently I'm just a natural practitioner of. Because that's really what it is. It's like I just the only thing I care about is moving my body to the music, right? I don't care
Hmm.
about form. Well, I care about form in the sense that like my attention and my posture needs to be something. I don't know. There's something weird that happens,
Yeah.
but because my focus is on just enjoying the workout. Uh, I don't sacrifice form to get more reps in because I don't care about
Hmm.
reps.
Yeah.
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 And so I think that's part of the reason too why like I'm making the gains that I am making.
Yeah.
And I'll say too that I still haven't figured it all out. Like I didn't work out at all over the winter because I couldn't go outside. And when I did
Hmm.
go outside, I wouldn't break a sweat because it's too cold. And like, yeah, fuck that. I don't want to do that shit. Like, so it's not perfect, but it's like, oh, this is the thing. Like I need to pull on this thread and see where this leads me.
There's a book I'll make a recommendation to you and anyone listening. It's called The Practicing Mind.
Oh,
And it honestly is like one of those books really, really, help shape my life and what I try to do. But he has a point in that where he talks about, he's like, at what point do you tell a flower it's perfect? You know what I
mm,
mean? He's like, it's the process. The entire process of the flower growing is like perfect, right? It's not
right.
like this is the perfect
Yeah.
stage of the flower. Like, and he talks just a lot about that. Like, you got to just understand, you're always going to be figuring it out. You're not going to ever wake up one day and be like, I figured out the workout thing and I'm done.
Exactly. Thank God.
It's never going to happen.
Thank God. Thank God. Right, because I know that. I've heard that before, but like I don't hear anybody else saying that. Yeah. So it's
people
like
don't want to, society around us doesn't want to. We have images we shove down get shoved down our throats all day about like, this is what a perfect good life looks like.
Yeah.
And like,
But is it though? Is it?
This camera angle might look cool, but you don't see the tiny upstairs apartment. I live above the post office. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's image curation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, John doesn't even have any hair. You know what I mean? People don't know this yet. It's just a wig.
You weren't supposed to tell people that.
I'm the bald one anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah. So, shit. Did we finish?
Yeah.
We didn't even get to like talk about the design for my thing. But, let me see, because my brother was supposed to be here. Okay, never mind. So yeah, he's running late. Surprise, surprise.
I was gonna say too, you could always do a follow-up. Happy to be a part of this. Happy to do this anytime you ever want me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was...
I don't do anything, so
well, except for the 60 fucking orders that you have lined up. So except for work and produce awesome artwork, and
it's a nice break from woodburning. I'll take it.
So yeah, I mean, this was a lot of fun for me. Again, thanks for doing it. Thanks for bearing with me through the technical difficulties. So if people want to check out your stuff, if people want to place orders, how can they find you?
Check out our website at www.thehungryelfco.com. And across all social media platforms, we are at The Hungry Elf Co. Got them all unified. Fought hard for that.
Awesome. So yeah, links for that going to be in the description, ladies and gentlemen. So go check it out. Place your whatever, commission for your artwork now before they realize that they're undercharging and they start actually charging what the pieces are worth. Okay.
And also, just because it's always a confusion with the wait list, when I tell people we have a wait list, they just say they'll follow up later when we don't. But the wait list is never going anywhere.
Yeah.
So you gotta get on the wait list.
It's just the nature of what you guys do, because you don't really automate anything, right? Yeah. You're always going to have a wait list. Even if you're the only person on the wait list, you're still going to have to wait.
So if you wait 6 months to contact us, you're going to be another 6 months
right
behind.
Yeah, probably maybe even further, because the line will be
even longer.
So, all right. Well, once again, Lonny, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. I had a lot of fun. And,
absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll have to do it again.
Everyone, get in the comments. Let them know. Stump Pump Podcast official name.
Stop it.
Push it.
That is not the podcast. Okay, listen, if you want that to be the name of the podcast, you're going to have to drop some super thanks along with that, because I'm not doing that for free.
John is a man of the people. John is a man of the people. Get in the comments.
It's true.
Let him know.
It's true. I will do what the people want as long as the people pay for it. Okay? All right. All right.
All right, buddy. Have a great day. Enjoy your time with your family.
Oh, yeah, you too. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.